Most people believe in the afterlife, but when somebody who's grieving is not receiving signs, that's where I really see them struggle. They begin to worry if their loved one made it to heaven, if they're okay. And they often think that they're doing something wrong because they're not getting the signs and symbols that so many of their friends and loved ones are receiving. So, in today's video, I want to talk to you about the very nature of afterlife signs and what it may mean if you're not receiving them. Hi, everyone. I'm Diana Palm. I'm a spiritual healer and medium, and I've been helping people to connect with the afterlife and heal their grief for over 30 years. This is one of my very favorite topics. I'm very passionate about it because just like you, I have lost loved ones, and that is really what cemented my path for me, what really opened me up to the spirit world in a way that I had never thought possible. Now, that being said, I am a natural medium, so I was born with some gifts. I was very sensitive energetically, and I happen to live in a lot of haunted houses. But that is not the same energy as losing a loved one and longing to stay connected to them. But what I did was apply everything that I learned in working with the paranormal and with spiritual healing, and I applied it towards connecting with my loved ones in the afterlife. And it became crystal clear to me that this could be a skill that is taught, that the average person has the natural makeup to be able to raise their vibration through healing and connect with their loved one in the afterlife. What I found is that when somebody is grieving, they're often experiencing something like the dark night of the soul, where everything around them feels very dark, where they may describe themselves as feeling cut off, experiencing bad luck, sickness, depression, not wanting to eat or sleep, not wanting to connect with other people. These are all phases and very natural symptoms of grief. However, many people get stuck there, and without realizing it, they are actually cutting off their natural ability to connect with their loved one in the afterlife. So many times when I see somebody reach for the afterlife and actually get an authentic sign from their loved one, or a dream visit, or something just so inspired and felt in the heart, that they actually know they're still connected with their loved one, they know their loved one is still with them, that's when I see them shift their grief. And that's when I see them begin to feel re inspired and reinvigorated with life again. There's kind of a critical turning point in the grief healing process when one recognizes that the spirit world is real, that the afterlife is very much real. And that's why I spent decades teaching classes and presentations on proof of the afterlife, because I have seen it time and time again help heal people who are in grief. But not only that, it gives the rest of us hope and more meaning, and it also calls to people who are naturally inclined, who are natural empaths, who are natural healers. They want to be of service to people in grief. They want to be of service to their own loved ones. And so many of them actually step onto the mediumship path as a way to help their communities, their friends, their loved ones, and all their clients. And I do see mediums now leading the grief healing industry because they have deep insights that mainstream therapists don't have. There's only so much you can talk about your loved one who passed. Sometimes you actually carry spiritual grief, which is like the loneliness in your heart, the disconnection that you feel that can be described with words, but it can't be healed with words. The healing actually comes from a feeling of reconnection, a feeling of knowing that your loved one is still with you and that they're aware of what you're going through in life and that you're not alone. I think that those are really amazing takeaways from anyone seeking to heal their grief. And that's why I have two grief healing programs that help people to heal all these deep spiritual layers within their lives so that they can actually be back in alignment, back in the flow, and start receiving their own spiritual signs from their loved ones in the afterlife, letting them know that they're okay, letting them know that they're around, letting them know that they're still part of your life. I think as a medium, that's the biggest takeaway, and still and will always have me in such a state of gratitude and awe when I see the many different ways that spirit shows up. and lines things up to help you in your life. They provide so many signs and symbols. You know, we have pennies from heaven. If you go out walking in nature, you're bound to see some strange animals cross your path. Or for me, I find little hearts all the time in nature, little leaves in the shape of a heart, little stones in the shape of a heart, or tree branches, or whatever it is. Those are one of my signs from a particular loved one that I have in the spirit world. So the more you can actually release the heaviness, the weight of grief, the more you can kind of crack open just a little bit the possibility, the hope for connecting with your loved one in the afterlife. You actually tap into more awareness and more possibility and more magic. But aside from that, I can tell you it's not wishful thinking. It is a scientific fact. It is proof. And that's why I did proof of the afterlife presentations for so many years, capturing photos, hearing voices of your loved ones on the other side, um, receiving with intention, clear communication with them, whether you use devices, meditation, seances, dream visits. I teach people how to access the afterlife through a variety of different methods. If they want to serve others, I teach them how to get their clear connection with the other side and how to develop different aspects of mediumship so that they can help others who are grieving and also help themselves. But for the average person, I would say that just going through something like my Grief Ease app, which is a full spiritual grief healing program, that will actually lift the heaviness of your grief so that you're more aligned, which just means more in your natural state. When you're not bogged down by a lot of fear and hopelessness, your natural state is connected to the afterlife. Your natural state is connected to the loved ones you have in spirit. So all I do is help alleviate the heaviness and help them work through some spiritual issues that they still have, some questions unfinished, and some of their fears that they carry, some of their guilt and shame. I lead them through that and also heal some traumas that they carry. Oftentimes we carry shock and trauma when we lose somebody through a sudden or unexpected death. So what I do is provide meditations and healing services to help alleviate those energies so that you as an individual get back in alignment, which simply means back into a natural state where you're not suffering. And in that state, it is 100% natural for you to connect with your loved one in the afterlife, to receive dream visits, to get signs and symbols in nature or in the world around you, to see strange or unusual animals approach you time and time again, letting you know that you're not alone, letting you know that your loved one is with you. And after a little time, you can start to identify which animals are bringing a message through for each individual loved one that you have, because none of mine are duplicated. Each of my loved ones in heaven has a different animal that they send me or a different symbol that they send me every single time they visit. You begin to build a sort of shorthand between yourself and your loved one in heaven, and you begin to understand and feel and know when they're around you, when they're visiting, when they're showing up for a holiday, when they're recognizing something that you're going through in life, whether it's a wonderful celebration or something you're struggling with. They really like you to know that they're there, that they do pay attention to what's happening in your life. They're very much still connected to you, and they want to offer love and support and often guidance. If you can tune in with them, you can receive their guidance. Mediumship isn't just about giving messages. Mediumship to me is more about bridging the here and now with the afterlife and helping those in grief to restore and rebuild from the inside out through their own healing and spiritual understanding so that they're getting their own link. They're actually the ones creating the shorthand between themselves and their loved one. They're reestablishing that connection with them so that they can continue living their life fully aware that their loved one is still with them. It's hard to miss somebody when they're just missing in the physical life, but you really know that they're around you in spirit. Actually, you get a lot more of their time and attention when they're in spirit than you would if they were living. So it's a different relationship, but it continues. And I think that that's the takeaway today. If you're looking for ways to connect, I would start by going out in nature and just tuning the world out, sitting quietly, listening to a stream, listening to the birds, or just paying attention to your surroundings and just having quiet time. Many people think they need to go into a deep meditation, and you really don't. You just need to quiet yourself or still your thoughts. Listening very carefully is an active way that you're turning down your thoughts and becoming more receptive. Receptivity is key. So anything you can do to be receptive where you're listening, tuning in, turning down the noise of the outside world to tune in more with nature and yourself and your surroundings. That's the biggest thing that I would recommend anybody do. But you can also ask your loved one to visit you. You can invite them to come into your home, to come and give you a dream visit, or to visit you and leave you something. You can request that they give you pennies from heaven, or that they show you which animal represents them or which symbol they're going to send you on future visits. Your loved ones are always going to stay connected to you, and they absolutely love it when you do something to bridge that gap and indicate that they're not forgotten, that you do want to continue living with them, being aware of their presence, and allowing them to help you from the other side. It's very natural for you to stay connected with your loved ones who pass. Our journey together is forever. We have soul contracts with those that we have loved and shared space with in this lifetime. And that does not end when they die physically. So there's no such thing as running out of time, or not being able to say you're sorry before somebody dies, or not being able to express your love before they die. There really is no death. So our relationships continue, and you can take these moments to pause from your natural, busy, loud, fast-paced life to just tune in, get in the rhythm of life again by slowing down, breathing, contemplating, sitting in nature, emptying out your thoughts. And in that space, you can actually send everything that you want to say to your loved one, and they will receive it. In fact, let's take a moment right now to do that. If you want to just tune into my surroundings, go ahead, just take a moment to center yourself and take a couple deep breaths. Think about what you would like to say to your loved one in spirit. Think it with your whole heart. I love you. I'm sorry. I miss you. Come visit me. Whatever it is that you want to say it right now. Say it out loud. Okay. I'm going to, within 24 hours of watching this video, you're going to receive an afterlife sign from your loved one. This could be anything. So pay attention to your surroundings and get a good night's sleep tonight, because they may come visit you in a dream. But this is my guarantee. If you just made a heartfelt, momentary connection, your loved one has reestablished contact with you, and they are lining up to provide some afterlife proof directly to you and for you. When you receive your afterlife visit, be sure you come back here to this video and let me know what happened. And if you're interested in my training or my grief healing programs, all the links, they're below this video. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.